Hey you guys, Linwood here, and today we're going to be talking about social media marketing for cosmetologists. Now, as many of you know, I am a licensed cosmetologist, a cosmetology instructor, and I have been here on YouTube for a long periodically time. So I want to talk to you guys about some of the different things I've done to help me be successful on different platforms and to grow clientele, because I know that in this industry, it's very rapidly changing, and things that were the case when I first started are no longer the case. So when I first started in this industry, there was no such thing as social media, much less social media marketing. We just simply weren't thinking about those sort of things. At that time, the most popular thing that you could consider social media was probably AOL Instant Messenger. That was really depressing to say. And on top of that, there was no such thing as MySpace, anything like that at the time. I was still literally on dial-up internet. No one had smartphones. They hadn't been invented. And if you had a phone that did a polyphonic ringtone to it, it's you or somebody. You had an expensive phone, the one that could actually kind of sound like the song that was trying to play. Now that I've dated myself, some of you are probably relating to me, and the others of you are probably like, dang, he's crusty. Nonetheless, I just want to go ahead and show you guys that even if it's not something that you started the career with, or if this is a brand new career to you, it's never too late to learn social media, to be able to promote yourself and to grow a clientele base in the beauty business. We have a lot of information that we're going to be covering. This video is going to be about 45 minutes long, so please keep in mind that you can rewatch it if you feel as though it's going a little too fast, or there's a lot of information that's covered in one section that you would like to get again or more intensely, or whatever the case may be. I will be including some photos and some video clips during. I do have my phone here present with me because, of course, I'm talking to you guys about social media marketing, and majority of what I'm going to be talking to you guys about can be done from right here on this phone. You don't have to have any special equipment or cameras, anything like that. And if you do, I'll share with you some affordable options in what you can do with that as well. But I want you to know what it takes to do this, and I don't want to throw anyone else under the bus. So I'm going to show you some of my older work and throw myself under the bus, and that way you can see how I started from the bottom. Now we're here. It's still feels kind of like the bottom. Okay, so I want you guys to first know you do not have to have thousands and thousands of followers in order to be successful in the salon. It seems nice, and you're seeing all these people on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, things like that have hundreds of thousands or several tens of thousands of followers, subscribers, things like that. And I will tell you, while yes, I have some of those numbers now, that's not where I was when I was in the salon regularly, and it just wasn't where I was in terms of follower count. You can have a very decent, busy clientele with just a couple of hundred followers on your Instagram or on your Facebook, things like that. So don't let the numbers be discouraging. So if you're going to get into social media marketing, you first have to select a social media platform or platforms. I recommend starting with one that is ideal for you and for your customer client base. What does that mean? If you are one that you find yourself constantly scrolling through Facebook, that might be a better platform for you to do. You're already on there. It's already familiar to you. It doesn't feel foreign, and it doesn't feel overwhelming in terms of new things that you would have to learn. There will be new stuff you've got to learn though, so don't try to think that you're just going to go about it with no effort whatsoever. You also want to think about your clientele base. If your clientele that is ideal to you is a younger clientele, Facebook might not be the place to look. That's more of an established clientele that you're looking at. These are people who are mature adults, people who have kids, some of them have grandkids. A lot of that younger demographic has moved over to Instagram, to Snapchat, to TikTok, things like that, where you are seeing a lot more engagement from them on those platforms. So you want to kind of know where your money is coming from. Who do you appeal to? And some of that deals with the age group that you are. Some of that deals with the age group that you appeal to, or even understanding that, okay, you know what, younger people may have more fun style options, but they don't always have the money to spend. So it kind of helps out with knowing your demographics there. And we'll get more into demographics here shortly. We already established that younger people tend to favor Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, things like that. Established people usually tend to favor things like Facebook and Pinterest. And a lot of companies these days are actually, like, let's say if you're looking to be a brand ambassador, if you're looking to be an influencer, or if you're looking to just be able to grow your reach by connecting with companies, possibly getting to try out free products, things like that, a lot of them are liking Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So it kind of depends on where you're at the most. I will tell you, when it comes on to building clientele, you're not going to find a lot of clientele on LinkedIn. Like, let's just be really honest. Same thing kind of goes for Twitter. So you really want to know, who is it that I'm trying to appeal to the most? If it's brands or companies, yes, I can find you on LinkedIn, I can find you on Twitter, I can find you on Instagram. But if it's a client, I may want to focus what is the word? Why is English failing me? It's the only language I know. You may want to focus primarily on Instagram if that is the case, and those are your selections that you want to pick from, because then at least you can appeal to a brand and a customer base. But ideally, you're going to have to look and see what network would be the best for you and then select from there. Now, of course, you also want to consider the type of stuff that you want to post. If you find that you're more of like a blog writer or things like that, you may not want to go with something like, say, Snapchat that doesn't really give you any space to write any information. If you're on Instagram, sure, you can write it as like a mini blog, and you can also connect through the website links to your actual blog if you're looking to do something like that. It's a great way for you to be able to potentially build affiliate income that's outside of what you would be earning on clients, things like that. So it's a great way to potentially earn. That's a whole nother video by itself. What we want to look at though is, okay, are you better with photos? Are you better with videos? Are you better with motivation? What type of things are you going to be posting? And then does the platform that you're interested in support that type of content? Most video is going to be supported on content these days, but depending on where you're at, you may want to film upright like this, and in other instances, you may want to film like this here. So let's say, for instance, if you're putting content on Instagram, pull that phone upwards. You want to film vertical like this. If you're filming for Facebook, do landscape like this here. That's how you're going to be filming majority of your content. Now, not to say that you cannot put content that is filmed like this on Instagram, but it's more pleasing to the user interface if you have it the way that the platform is designed to be used. So you really want to think about that stuff as you're posting. The next thing I want you to think about here is, instead of just posting your hair content, your content that you're trying to put out there on your personal page, create a separate page. It's totally free. Do it as a business profile. So if you're on Instagram, you can create a business page. If you're on Facebook, you can create a business page as well. If you're on Twitter, you can just create a whole nother platform and do that as your business. But you don't want to intermix your personal with your business, because there's going to be certain aspects of your life that you really don't need to be sharing with clientele, things like that. And on top of that, when you end up doing it from a business standpoint, you get certain benefits and features as a business profile on these platforms. Things like analytics. Now, analytics sounds like, why would I need to know that? Because it's giving you things like the sex of your followers, the age demographic of your followers, the times that they tend to be online, things like that. These are all great things for you to know. If you know that you're servicing majority of female clientele that tends to be between the age of 35 and 45, then you know that putting out posts for prom may not be as successful. So instead of me focusing so much attention on prom, maybe I should focus a little bit more on back to school. Maybe I should focus a little bit more on creating content that is designed on mom getting away from it all and having a spa day. I want to know who it is that's following me, so I know how to cater my content and what type of things they may be interested in. Now, the other thing that's nice about having a business page, especially if you're on Facebook, is that there's a certain aspect of automated messaging. So let's say if, for instance, someone is interested in making an appointment and they're asking you like, hey, how can I make an appointment, instead of asking you a general question, you can actually have an autoresponder on Facebook that tells them like, hey, thank you so much for reaching out. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you are looking to make an appointment, you can book through this link here. And it's a great way for you to be able to still reach out to them, let them know, hey, I'm working, but I'll get back to you as soon as possible, and still give them a way to make an appointment if they want to make an appointment without even having to pick up your phone. So it a lot of times will alleviate extra conversation that you don't necessarily have to have, just to ensure that you are still able to focus on your clients that are in your seat and taking care of business as usual. So a business profile is able to do that, whereas a personal Facebook page or a personal Instagram isn't going to give you those capabilities in the same manner. So just think about what it is that you're doing there and why it is that you're doing it. The other nice thing is, on Instagram and on Facebook, you can actually boost a post or advertise for next to nothing. You can do it for as little as $1 a day. And I mean, it's nice for you to be able to do that, but you can't do that from a personal page. It's got to be a business page. And if it's an Instagram, it has to be linked to a Facebook business page in order for you to be able to do that. So there are some things that you have to consider there as well, but these are the primary issues that you want to focus on. Now, when it comes down to selecting a username, your username should be professional. This is not the time for Big Booty Judy 6969. This is not the time for Big Mama Cat Lover, whatever. Like, it should be something that is professional. It should be something that's easy to remember. So it shouldn't be like gorgeous hair. Gorgeous is spelled with a J, and hair has 8 A's in it. Like, that is crazy. No one is going to find that. It's not easily searchable. It's not easily darn English, it's not easily memorable either. So you really want to focus on what type of name are you doing. So I have an influencer account on Instagram now. And so I focus primarily on promoting my content that's on YouTube, things like that. And I create more entertainment value and educational value content on my Instagram now. Well, the thing with that is my YouTube name is GlamFam. Now, GlamFam was taken on Instagram. So instead of just doing GlamFam, I did Get GlamFam. So if you want to get a hold of GlamFam, you can do so by doing it here. So Get GlamFam is my Instagram name. It was easy for people to remember. It was easy for me to find a domain for. And so I literally own the domain rights to that. I own, the Instagram name for it. I've got it on my YouTube as well. It just makes it nice for it to be all synchronized and work synergistically together, so you have a brand that makes sense. Okay, so you want to select a name that has long-term appeal as well. While Instagram will allow you to easily change your name, Facebook will not easily allow you to change your business name. It takes an act of Congress, and I'm not going to get into politics, but let's just say it's not easy to get things done in Congress. Whatever name you're going to go with, try to stick with that, because changing that out on certain platforms is not as easy. And I want to make sure that you're not trying to fight and pull teeth and having to provide evidence to Facebook that your business name has legally changed, because a lot of times they won't change it unless you can prove evidence of that. With this username, with your videos, with your photos, things like that, you want to put a watermark on your photos. This is going to prevent people from stealing your work. And we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but I really want to make sure to just get that in there early. So pick it, stick it. That sounds like a booger. Okay, so we've moved on from that. Let's move into your bio. Now, your bio is a section in here where you get to talk about yourself and talk about what you specialize in. This is the area where you're selling yourself to whatever person comes along your page. So keep in mind, this is your very first impression with some people. This is not the place for you to put who it is that you're dating, how many dogs, cats, horses, sheep, goats, whatever else that you may have at your house, how many kids you've got. That's great that you have all those things. I love that you have all those things, but that needs to be on your personal profile. Your business profile, when people look at your bio, they should know, okay, what is it that you do? So if you look at my bio, and I'll pop some different screenshots and things up here, but if you look at my bio, it tells you how long I've been doing hair. It tells you how long I've been an educator. It tells you that I'm an influencer online. It tells you that I am a video creator, a content creator. It gives you a lot of information all in one spot that people might be interested in knowing. So if your specialty here is in baby lights, then this is a place for you to put baby light specialist. If your emphasis here is on extension, putting extension expert, something like that is a great way for you to sell yourself. So if you have something that you specialize in, something that you are known for, this is the place to put it. Make sure that it's concise. You don't want to use up all of the characters you have just because. So a lot of times you'll notice, like, I use the emojis and things like that in mine. It makes it draw to the eye, and I did it more in a bullet point type of fashion. And that way you're able to more easily see what it is that I do. You can also use hashtags in there, and it highlights that area for you and becomes searchable. So the nice thing about it is it allows you to draw attention to the areas that you want to draw attention to. It also allows you to make sure you're focusing on the areas of utmost importance about your business. With your bio, the person should read it and they should automatically know, what are you selling? Are you selling hair services? Are you selling Girl Scout cookies? Are you selling snarky comments? What is it that you do on here? Now, on Instagram especially, you get just one link. And same thing with Facebook, I believe. You can have a website link if you have a website. So I'm going to share with you a couple of different tips on here in terms of what you can do to help out with that. But your link is a great way for you to be able to send people on somewhere else to possibly learn more about you or to book an appointment, things like that. So you definitely want to make sure that you're utilizing this link to the best of your abilities. So let's say you don't have a website, but you do have another social media page that you would like for them to see. I always tell people, it should be an experience. It should be an exploration to finding your content. So to me, I've always been one, I don't like to put pictures of my work on my business cards. I put very minimal information on there. I link to my social media page because your social media these days is a walking portfolio. It is like, when I first got in the industry, you literally had to have like a portfolio book to carry with you to get hired, to show to clients, to display what work you could do, things like that. Now, social media is that for you, and it has such a broader reach. It's important that we're utilizing that in the manner that it is able to be utilized for your business, especially because it's free. Do you guys know how much money I wasted on newspaper ads that didn't work? How much money I wish I had so I could advertise in a magazine or advertise on a radio spot or advertise on a television ad? And these days you can literally create content, put it online, it gets shared for free, and you can draw new clientele, and you never had to leave your business. I had to pass out cards and flyers at the beginning of my career. If social media had been a thing when I first started, I could have gotten so much further in my career. So if you're a cosmetology instructor, this is something you got to be sharing with your students. If you're a cosmetology student, this is something you have to be considering. You should be starting even while you're in school. If you are a cosmetology professional, it's not too late for you to do this. I started late in the game and it still majorly benefited me because so many people are too lazy to do the work. When it comes down to this link, let's say if, for instance, like me, I have multiple things I'm sending people to. So I send people to my Amazon store so that way they can see what my favorite products are and they can order them. It's frequently asked questions that I get that way. And so if you can just click somewhere and see what all my favorite products are, great. You can go on over there and shop. I've got it linked to my YouTube. So if you're looking for hair tutorials, you can get that. The other one is for my mailing list. And so that way people who are interested in learning more about their healthy hair and getting on a healthy hair challenge, things like that, can go on there and download that. The problem is Instagram only has one link. So there actually is a free tool that you can get online called Linktree. A Linktree profile is excellent because it basically becomes a landing page where people can click on that button and they can go to whatever different locations they're interested in. So if they're interested in more than one thing, you now have one link that has turned into potentially 5, 10, I wouldn't get as out of control as 10, but you can send them to multiple places so they can go down the rabbit hole and just be consumed with all the content that you have created, with all the different ways that you have to connect with them, okay? Keep in mind the key word to social media is social. Your people these days are able to feel like they know you before they ever sit in your chair, and that is amazing, especially because 50% of people being satisfied with their hair isn't being satisfied with you as a person. So if I've already seen you, I know you, I like you, I trust you, you've built the know, like, and trust factor before you've ever even touched that client. That's amazing. That's what social media is powerful for. That's what it's good for. Now, let's talk about lighting. So with lighting, you have to keep in mind cameras don't see light the same way the human eye sees light. So a lot of people automatically assume they have to have this really expensive equipment, super expensive camera and all that to be able to promote themselves online or to create quality content. That is a lie. It is a bold-faced lie at that. You do not have to have the most top-of-the-line camera. You can use your smartphone for this, and nearly every post that I do is off of my smartphone. Now, my YouTube videos, I do use a proper camera. Some of them I use my smartphone as well, but literally all of my photos, all of my images, all of my videos that you see on Instagram, all that has been done on my smartphone. So I want you to keep in mind, it's not about having this high, and trust me, this is not like an iPhone 67 XR or whatever. This is an iPhone 7, okay? Like, do you know how many times I've been talking on this phone and it has told me that I have no SIM card in it while the SIM card is still in? Like, do you know how many times this thing gets so hot you could cook an egg on it? But baby, I'm riding it till the wheels fall off, and this old phone is still able to do everything I need for my business. I don't want you to think you have to go spend a ton of money on something when you've already spent a good degree of money on something that does the same job. Now, there is a secret though. So instead of having these high quality cameras, what I would recommend is that you invest in proper lighting. So let's talk a little bit more about lighting. The truth is, if you have quality lighting, it will automatically step up the quality of the content that you're posting. What that means is if you're looking at something and the lighting is terrible, it's not gonna be as good. So let me go ahead and show you what I mean here. Let's say if I was filming this video and, oh, that's right. Let's say if I was filming this video and I'm doing it and my lighting keeps going in, out, or let's say it's just off altogether. So now this whole side of my face here is dark. Sure, it might get the job done, but now I look like I need more sleep. I'm casting more shadows, things like that. If I can fill that space in with some light, look at the difference in between how this shot looks. Let me turn that up just a little bit more. Look at the difference in between how that shot looks, and that's literally with just one source of light here and some natural light coming through the window here. Now I do have overhead light as well, and we'll discuss the differences between those different lighting sources. The number one and best lighting source is natural indirect lighting. You don't even have to spend money on it. Now, when I say natural lighting, I mean lighting that is natural. It's coming from the sun, but it's indirect. So it's not shining directly in the window on your face. It's not casting shadows. It's very soft it's very gentle. So this is indirect natural lighting. You can see there are no shadows coming on my face, anything like this, and all I'm doing is standing in front of an open window that the sun is not shining directly in. That way there's not any shadows that are left on my face. It's not casting any harsh lines. It's not making me squint like this. And so that way it just allows people to look more youthful, allows the skin to look more smooth, and cameras pick this up so much better. It is a free, natural resource. It's not something that you gotta go spend infinity bazillion dollars on Amazon. You can just get in front of a window and take photos and videos of your clients here. It's amazing. But if it's direct natural lighting, now you've got a whole different issue. You're casting shadows, you're making your clients squint. It just doesn't look as good. So if you're trying to take pictures of your client's hair, you keep in mind the lighting that you're in. If you're in quality natural lighting, it's gonna be great. If you're in direct sunlight, not only is your client hot, they're sweating out their hairstyle, they're squinting, they're burning up, you're burning up their retinas and their corneas and all of that out in the sun, and their hair's blowing all over the place. Like, there's not much benefit to this. It makes things a lot harder. Oh wow, you look perfect. Yeah, you look great. Tilt your head down. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Can you like squint less? Smile a little more. Yeah. Oh, that's cute. Oh, this is gonna look great on my Insta. With incandescent or tungsten lighting, or your typical overhead lighting sources, not only do they tend to cast a lot more yellow tones, or in some instances where it's the tube lights, you cast more like that hospital-y, overly cool tone, things like that, but it's gonna cast a lot of shadows from up above. So now we are creating what looks like dark circles under here, things like that. So you want to keep in mind that while yes, it's still a source of lighting, if it's all up here, now my colors, things like that look bright up here. The hair looks shiny up here, but it looks dull on the bottom. So a lot of times what you'll find is having a ring light actually does a better job at that. And that's what I have back here behind the camera is a ring light, and it's dimmable. So it allows me not to have it too bright, because baby, I can turn this baby up, but look, Lord, it's so bright I can taste it. With it all the way up, you guys can see this washes me out. This is way too much, and honestly, it hurts to look at. So this much light is not needed. A little bit goes a long way. Look at the difference there, okay? So when I'm looking at that, that's what I'm looking for. Now keep in mind, if you can't afford a ring light, they do make the little portable ones like this that you can pop onto your phone, and boom, you can take a picture of your client that way. The other thing I would recommend is if you're taking pictures of your clients, try using the lens in the back, not the lens in the front. The lens in the back is always going to be a better quality camera than your selfie lens. It also is going to give you more of a true look, because the front lens contorts the image a little bit. So if you're looking for the most true look and the most true value to your work, go ahead and use the back camera. Now, if you're doing a client selfie, people love that. We'll go ahead and discuss that later. You know, you do what you do. It's not dimmable, but you get a yellow light here. You've got blended light where it's yellow and white. And then of course you've got just standard white light here. So you can adjust the color temperature of your lighting, as well as some of that intensity there, as well as like if I want it blended, whatever the case may be. So this here is $10 versus most ring lights that you find are gonna be a minimum of $60 to I'd say about $90 starting. The nice thing about the ring lights though is they don't take up a ton of space. They are rather compact, so they're great for in the salon versus having like these big studio setup lights. Like, no one has time to be trying to be a photographer in a salon. Ain't nobody got time for that. Now, LED lighting is really nice, and that's what my ring light has here. LED lighting, let me turn this down some still. LED lighting is nice because it gives you a nice amount of impact, but it doesn't have a hot temperature on it. It's better because it's not gonna make the salon hotter. If you've been in the salon, you've done blow dries, flat irons, got a stove in there, things like that, you know it gets hot. You don't have time to be trying to sweat it out, trying to get this lighting just right. Your person is sweat out their blowout before they can even get out of the salon. You got it too hot. We don't need all of that. Now, when it comes down to your photo quality, here's the main thing I want you to get. The better your quality to your photos is, the better you're going to see a reach and impact online. So your photo quality, your edits, and your composition make up everything when it comes down to what you're posting and how you're posting. So I want to keep in mind, I don't want to put a grainy or a blurry photo online. So this is when you got to start looking at your work, looking at other things that are trending or doing well online in terms of photos, and asking yourself, does the clarity come through? Did I forget to wipe off my lens? Is it still greasy from me touching it by mistake when I had my chicken for lunch, or whatever the case may be? Is it something where I was perhaps just kind of taking a picture and not even thinking about the quality of the image? I want you to keep in mind, on social media, if you didn't post it, it didn't happen. So if you want your customers to feel like you are busy, you have to be consistently showing up and consistently showing them what it is that you're doing. If you haven't posted for a week, they just assume you haven't been doing hair for a week, and that's pretty much how that goes. All of your photos should be completely clear. They should be well lit. You want to make sure that you are doing some minor editing in order to get the photo together. So things like putting your watermark on there so no one can easily steal your work. Things like maybe slightly blurring the background, things like that. You don't want to get crazy with the blur feature, because I've seen some people that get so out of control it looks like a bad plastic surgery. Like, it's not that serious. But you do want to make sure you're doing certain things to kind of make it more pleasing to the eye. Of course, another thing that you can do is make sure that you are using a pretty clutter-free background, or a background that is a bit more consistent, like this here. So I don't have just random items just chilling in the back, stuff just all over the place, jackets hanging, stuff like that. So if you can find a place that's fairly neutral, find a place that just kind of makes things pop and take it there, especially if it's somewhere near a front window of the salon. Amazing. Keep in mind, a bad photo of good work is bad work. That's the way that this looks to people, because I can't even make out the work that you did. So I want to keep in mind, when I'm posting my stuff, is the photo quality a good photo? It doesn't have to look like a professional photographer did it, but I should be able to see your work. I should be able to see the quality and whether or not the ends look shiny or dry. Like, I've literally seen people where if their frame is this space here, where they have cut off a portion of their client's face because they're trying to take this picture so close, back up. I can crop into the size I need through editing. I don't have to get right up on my, if I'm here, there's only so far I can go. So your phone should never be this close to your client that this is what you're seeing. If you back up some, I can now actually see the hair, things like that. If I'm all up here, the top of my hair is cut off, the bottom of my hair is cut off. So back up some, and if you need to zoom in, do it in post. So that way you can kind of change the angle, you can move it, maneuver it however you need to with minor editing to make sure it's more visually appealing rather than getting in too close. I hope that makes sense. Again, this is where you want to make sure you're always including your watermark on there. Now, when I say watermark, what that means is putting your Instagram handle or your Facebook handle, your Twitter handle, things like that on your images and your videos in written text. That means that if someone is trying to take your image, they've either got to find a way to cover it up, or they have to try to edit over the top of it, something like that. Like, you can copy my style, but you cannot steal my photos. That way, even if they don't tag you, if they don't give you credit, the photo itself will send people your way if it gets reposted, if it gets shared, whatever the case may be. This prevents people from stealing your work. You would not believe the amount of people I see that steal other people's photos and try to present it as their own. It is incredibly prevalent in this industry. Don't subject yourself to that. Now, when it comes down to videos, I need you to understand video is way more engaging than photo is. So when you're doing your post, keep in mind, what do you interact with the most? Are you interacting more with funny videos, or do you interact with memes? What do you see more interaction with yourself with? The majority of the times, things that keep your interest longer and keep you engaged and sharing is going to be a quality video. So utilizing a video is a great way to kind of pull people into the experience a bit more with you. It's also a great way for you to get multiple pieces of content out of the same client. So let's say, for instance, if I have my client here and I took a photo of her hair and posted it, that's great. But let's say if I take a photo of her hair from this side here, her face wasn't in it, and I post that. A couple of days later, I could go ahead and post the video of that same look. Let's say a week later, I could post the front of that look. Later, I could even post a client selfie with me and her. So I can get multiple pieces of content with just this one client here. So even though you have to post regularly, don't recreate the wheel. Don't make it feel like I have to be so busy in order to stay relevant online. It doesn't have to be that way. Thank you. Thanks, Bashakwana. You want to think wisely about what it is that you're posting. Now, when you're putting up videos, you want to do certain edits and things on there, yes. But the goal of your editing is to make your video more engaging, to cut out slow parts or boring parts, possibly add some music so that way it's more entertaining, engaging. It's not just a flat, bland video, or possibly even doing a voiceover so people can know what it is you're doing and why. So let's say if it's a video of you doing flat ironing, things like that, and you're talking about how important it is that you are layering your products on there, how important it is that you're taking small sections when you flat iron hair, or how important it is that you use a heat protector, that your hair be in quality condition. These are all tips that you can give over video that makes your content more engaging. So moving on from that, we're going to move into your copy or your captions. This is what's written with that photo or that video. And you want to keep in mind that this is something that should be starting a conversation. You want it to stir curiosity, entertainment, education, present some degree of value, present a question, something like that, or even saying, hey, tag a friend who would wear this, tag a friend who can relate to this. Whatever the case may be, this gets people talking on your post because, as I said earlier, the main thing in social media is social. If I can get people being social with me in the comments and being social with each other, you're gonna see more success of your page that way. It grows a lot better and it's pleasing the algorithm of these websites if you have people interacting with you regularly on your page. The goal of your copy or your caption is to start or spark conversation. In that copy, you may have hashtags. Now, in case you don't know, and I'm sure by now some of everyone should know what hashtags are. So it's basically, for those who are in my age group and above, it's the pound sign. And then you just go ahead and attach a word to it or a couple of words to it, and it makes that pound sign or that hashtag searchable. This allows you to be found online. Now, here's where it's differing when it comes down to working with a salon, things like that. I see a lot of people where they just post really general hashtags like balayage. That's great that you do balayage, but balayage may be something that's been used 3 million times, if not more, on Instagram. So let's say if, for instance, and warning, I'm going to use Texas cities. I live in Texas, so I'm more familiar with the cities here. But let's say if, for instance, you're in Austin and you're doing balayage, putting Austin balayage, Austin hairstylist, or Central Texas stylist, or Texas hair, something like that as your hashtags. It's going to be a lot more searchable and it's going to reach people in your area. That's great if you can get to people across the world, but unless they plan on hopping on a plane and coming to spend money, it's not as beneficial when it comes down to filling your seat. This is why I said that you don't have to have thousands of followers in order to be successful in this industry. You just need a small group of followers, because if I can get a small clientele going with them, we're good to go. Your following will grow if you're following some of these other things, but you don't have to have this massive following to keep the lights on and to keep yourself fed and to make sure that you're paying all of your bills. You just don't have to do it. Using location-specific tags is really important. It makes you more searchable, especially if people are moving to the area and they want to know, okay, I'm in the Dallas area, so let me search Dallas hairstylist, or I want a silk press and I'm in Houston. Let me type in Houston silk press. That way I'm able to search out the service that I want in the area that I want. It's specific and there's going to be less people that have used that hashtag, so you're not kind of getting lost in the sauce. I want you to imagine if you have a let's say like a gumball dish or whatever they put gumballs in, and you drop your gumball in there and you've got 5 million other things going on in there. You're literally a drop in the bucket. It's really easy for you to get buried because that hashtag is so frequently being used. But if I have something that's getting used a little bit less, it makes it easier for me to rank in that area and to be found. That's the goal, is to be found online. So you want to, I'm not saying don't use large scale hashtags like balayage, but alternate. Use a mixture of your largely used hashtags, your mid-grade hashtags, and your smaller used hashtags. That way you're searchable and you're still able to rank in certain areas. It makes it a lot easier for you to be successful and for you to get regular engagement on these platforms. Now keep in mind, when it comes down to these hashtags, this is not the place for you to be putting cat lover, fitness junkie, whatever the case may be, if it has nothing to do with the post. That's great that you love cats. It's great that you're a fitness junkie. It's great that you are, I don't know, doing whatever. But if it doesn't relate to the post, don't use that hashtag for that. You only get a certain amount of hashtags for searchability's sake on Instagram and on Facebook, and you want to make sure that you're using those wisely. Those are prime real estate. Now, one of the other ways to make sure that you're more successful on a social media platform is to use its newest features. When new features come out, the app is trying to promote those features. They're trying to get people to use them, things like that. So when Instagram first got stories, they became super relevant to people, and you started getting notifications that people had posted to their story for the first time. You started seeing them on the top of your feed before you could see anything else. Then they started doing them chronologically, all that. So you started getting more notifications with that. So utilizing the newest features is always going to get you a bit more attention because the platform is trying to promote those features. Same thing goes with going live. With most platforms, when you go live, majority of your followers are getting a notification that you went live. That means that you are reaching out to more people because literally now the platform has gathered your audience for you. So for people who haven't been interacting as much or haven't seen your posts recently, this is a great way to get them re-engaged. Get comfortable with being on video. Get comfortable with talking to a camera, talking to your phone. And even if that means that you're doing a whole bunch of videos that you never post and talking about, girl, let me tell you what I ate today. It was so good, and you don't post it, at least that way you're able to get comfortable with talking to that camera a bit more. It makes a massive difference. So let's talk consistency. Now, this is where you want to think about how often it is that you're showing up. Are you posting every day? Are you posting every other day? Are you posting 3 times a week? Are you posting twice a day? In the morning and afternoon? Whatever you're doing, you want to stay pretty consistent with it, because keep in mind, like I said earlier, if you're not posting, people assume you're not doing. Consistency shows your audience that you care. It shows your audience that you're busy. It lets them know, hey, this person is staying busy in the salon. They're a good stylist and I want to go there. So when you're showing up consistently for them, they are going to be more interactive with your page. That being said, you want to make sure that you're also responding to your comments, responding to your messages that you get. So if you do a post and your purpose of the copy and the caption of that post was to get a conversation started, now your job is to go underneath that post and join the conversation. It doesn't mean you have to do it right away, but you should not be purposefully leaving comments unanswered if you have the ability to answer those comments. Now, naturally, as your subscriber counts and your follower counts get higher, you cannot answer back every single comment, especially if you're busy in the salon. But if people see that you're asking questions and that you're saying, okay, well, what do you think about this? And you're never going in there and saying, oh yeah, I love that. That's a great idea. Anything like that, you've taken the social out of social media and it's just become a commercial. The purpose is to get you social so you share, get you social so you tag a friend, get you social so it's pleasing the algorithm and it helps your page to grow and ultimately helps you stay busy in the salon. If you're taking forever to answer back people's messages, they're just going to find someone else to do their hair because they're going to assume that you don't care that much about whatever money they were going to spend if you can't answer back my question for weeks. Now let's talk about tagging people, brands, things like that on your post. Now, some people don't know, but you can tag brands in the description area of your post, but you can also tag them on the photo or the video, especially if you're on Instagram. This is excellent because let's say if, for instance, I'm using shampoo X here and I really love this shampoo and I used it on my client Bashakwana over here, and I go ahead and I post a photo and say, you know, this look was achieved using brand shampoo X on her. I absolutely love this stuff. Look how shiny and look how resilient it did. We did it before and after, blah, blah, blah. This is a way for you to be able to share what it is that you do and kind of show the quality of the products that you work with, but it's also a way for you to get the attention of the brand and have them potentially share you with their followers and their audience. It's a great way for you to grow your following and grow your reach, get in front of more eyes, and possibly be featured on feature pages as well. It's a great way to grow your following. So just keep in mind, because unfortunately, even though you don't have to have a ton of followers to do well in business, people do look at followers in some degree as a validating factor. So if I'm going to your page and I see, oh wow, you've got 5,000 followers, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, well, I should probably follow too. It's that herd mentality. So if you're able to build followers by reaching out to brands, things like that, without being spammy with it, I don't want to tag every brand I can think of on a post, but feel free to tag the brands that you're using in a video, the brands that you're using for the color, things like that. The brands appreciate it because it gives them content to be able to post and share because they're having to do the same thing you're doing. And at the same time, it allows you to reach audience members that you didn't have before. So let's talk about engaging on the platform. Now, when it comes down to it, you want to follow pages that are posting similar content to you, or even follow other stylists who are in your area. Compliment them on their work. Referring your people to other stylists in your area if they do something better than you that you're not really a specialist in. Things like that help you to build connections in your community, and you would be amazed at how many of those stylists that when they're busy, when their books are full, if they're no longer taking clients, or if there's something that they don't specialize in, how they reciprocate and they send people back your way. This is a very catty industry, but it doesn't have to be. And I will tell you, as catty as this industry can be, I will say, thankfully, majority of my career in this industry has been incredibly peaceful. I have so many community connections with the stylists in the area, and it has made things so wonderful. I appreciate the fact that I can walk into almost any salon and there's not like this tension of, are you here to steal clients? If anything, I'm here to support you and your business because we're all in this together. I can't service everybody in the area, nor do I want to. There are certain services I don't really care to do. So if that's the case, realize that all you need is your piece of the pie to be successful. You don't need everyone in the city. So if there's someone that does something better than you, tag them, share them on your story, shout them out from time to time. Comment on their work. This is you being social, building connections and community, and it's a great way for you to potentially build connections and relationships. So that way, if it's prom season and they're busy, they're swamped, they have no room, guess who they're referring stuff to? The stylist who's been pleasant to them. Let's talk about the types of posts you can do, because I feel like so many people don't know how to use hair posts to connect with clientele. So of course you can go ahead and share pictures of your finished work. You can share before and afters. Those seem to be the main things people think about. But sharing styling tips and secrets is a great way to grow clientele as well. So even something as simple as, hey, I absolutely love this brush. It costs this much. I do retail it here. And the reason why I love it is because blah, blah, blah. It's my favorite tool because this, that, and the third. Or taking that same brush and saying, hey, this is my favorite brush. I sell it here in the salon, but I want to show you some simple brushing techniques to make it more painless for you to detangle your hair at home. Things like that allow you to connect with your viewer or with your clientele a bit more. It allows you to potentially sell a product also. And it also allows you to say, you know what, I'm going to educate you with the knowledge and expertise that I have. I'm not hoarding this knowledge for myself. There's no brush secret that's going to put me out of business. Don't feel like if you share something that your business can't grow. Product knowledge is excellent. A lot of people don't know what products they should be using, how they should use it, or why they should use it. So let's say if you're sharing this hairspray and you love the fact that it's humidity resistant, things like that, but you notice majority of people use hairspray wrong, let me go ahead and show you the benefits of this product and also how to use it. Or I could even just do a post of me with the product and talk about how it's my favorite and why. And guess what? You tag a brand on that too, and it expands your reach, okay? You can do motivational posts. You can answer frequently asked questions. This to me is excellent. When you service clients and you see, hey, I keep getting the same type of questions over and over, that means more than one person is thinking about this. Create a post and tell people, educate them about whatever this is that you get asked about a lot. It's a great way for you to engage. Of course, you can post for the holidays. You can advertise your sales and your specials. You can repost your client selfies if it is a quality photo after you've done their hair. So a lot of times for clients, like there are clients that are waiting to share your work. So you, for one thing, want to make sure they know that you're online and where you are online. Everyone should know that. If you've got to get a little sign, if you got to put on your business cards, if you have to say, hey, if you check in, I'll give you, X amount percentage off of your service, your first service, whatever the case may be. This is a great way for you to grow your business, because then from there, when they're posting their selfie and they're saying, oh my gosh, so-and-so hooked me up, my hair looks amazing, they tag you or they post it to their story, that's new people in your area that are now coming your way to see what it is that you're about. Of course, pictures of your work. You can post pictures of you with your clients. So, hey, I absolutely love her. She is such a dear, blah, blah, blah. And having a photo with her. See, look how nice that is. Me by myself. Me with her. It instantly is like, oh, personal connection, even though she's not a person. Okay, so doing things like that shows that you are a real, live, breathing person who loves to connect with people. It shows your personality and it lets people begin to know, like, and trust you before they ever even sit in your chair. You can also do behind the scenes photos. So having a coworker film you real quick while you're doing a cut and film you real quick while you're doing a style, or take a quick couple photos of you. I've put people's spouses, boyfriends, whatever to work. If I'm doing someone's hair, hey, would you mind taking a photo of me real quick while I do this? Great, thank you. All you gotta do is ask. It's an easy post. It catches you in action, cutting hair, doing hair, whatever the case may be. It allows people to see the behind the scenes of what you do. People love to know the behind the scenes. If you're going to a class and you learned a new technique, even if you did it on a mannequin, like Bashakwana over here, like if you are doing new techniques on these mannequins, even though it's not a live breathing person, your clients love to know that you're learning new things, you're staying on top of your industry and your field, and they love to see that you're passionate about doing something. You can't wait to do this thing that you learned. You'd be amazed at how many people want to change because they saw you learned a new color technique on a hands-on class, something like that. Share those experiences. Share some photos of the person who's speaking while they're speaking in class and tag them. That person is now sharing it. On top of that, your clients love seeing the fact that you're going to continuing education classes. It is literally a win-win-win. You can post the occasional selfie. This is not to get out of control. Keep in mind, this is a business page, but your clients usually like you. So when it comes down to it, if you're posting an occasional photo of yourself, things like that, this is something that they enjoy seeing, and it keeps them knowing, oh, that's who is behind the camera. That's who is doing this beautiful work. People like to see that connection with you, especially your clients that they may not care for that other person's hairstyle. They may not care for that other person, but if they like you, they're more likely to engage with your post. You can post your why. So like for me, a lot of times I'll post pictures with my girls with their hair done, things like that, and I'll say, hey, you know, daddy daughter day, I did their hair, but I absolutely adore these girls. They are my reason for living and breathing, and they are why I work so hard day in and day out in the salon, is to take care of these beautiful angels. It gives you that personal connection. It lets people know why it is you do what you do, and the fact that you love your job and you're doing it for something that you love as well. And of course, customer appreciation posts, to just stop, do a quick video or photo to just tell your clients thank you, how much you appreciate them, how much you value them coming to be patrons of yours, because it's not something you should be taking for granted. This is all really important. So let's talk about times a day to post. And I know we're wrapping it up here, but the times a day you want to post, you want to think about the times that people are most likely to engage. So if I'm sharing a post online, I want to think about it like, if I'm posting at 3 a.m., I can't get upset when, you know, my wife is the only person who interacted with it, or my mom's friend's dog is the only person who liked it because they're one of those people who has an Instagram picture of their dog. Like I don't want to post at times where people really aren't online. So you want to think about the times when people are likely up and on their phones. So usually early in the morning, I don't know about you guys, but there have been multiple times I've been guilty of waking up and laying in bed and scrolling through my phone for 20 minutes before my feet ever hit the ground. It's a bad habit, I know, but people do it and you should take it to your advantage. Posting first thing in the morning is a great way for you to make sure that you're getting that. Or if they scroll through while they're eating breakfast, you're now front of mind for them. Posting right before lunchtime, again, because they are with their phone eating lunch. Doing it right around dinner time, because after dinner, the first thing people are doing is getting on social media, things like that. I want to stay on there at relevant times, so that way I can make sure that I am reaching people in a relevant manner. Okay, so this has been a lot of information to unpack. Of course, there's multiple different things, and there's still other strategies I haven't even touched on, but these are all of the different ways that you can use social media to your benefit to grow a massive following, grow massive income, and grow massive reach as well. So I hope that it has been a beneficial class for you. And if so, let me know in the comment box down below. Until next time, you guys take care, God bless, and stay glam. You know I love you, boo. Bye.